Greetings and welcome. I am your brother, Baba Jason, and for over 12 years, I have worked in the IT industry, performing in such tasks as technical support agent, sales associate, lead technician, development specialist, and software integration engineer, to name just a few. In addition to that, I have owned and operated a computer repair company for over 7 years. After becoming a born again African, I took a stronger interest in the development of my family, friends, and Africans as a whole. I decided to leave corporate and transform my dysfunctional cultural habits, as well as spending almost 2 years reprogramming my skills in technology to better serve African peoples. Through the guidance of our ancestors, support from my queen and princess, and lessons from the directors of AkokonanHomeschool.com, Mama Mawusi and Mama Njideka, I am proud to offer this online class to all African centered families, schools, academies, and co-ops. This overview of Introduction to Basic HTML for Africans is being brought to you by Just Right Technology. This class offers its own ideology and approach toward learning how to code. Summary. The course will focus on the idea that our African ancestors used the STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and math, to solve problems. Over time, we have lost that connection. This class will introduce some online resources, tools, and terms that will help explain the basic structure and purpose of HTML for the purpose of African liberation. Table of contents. Throughout the course, we'll follow the theme that we're a slave family enslaved by technology, and we want our technological freedom. In the first week, we'll have an introduction to course resources and a first project called Hacking a Web Page. In the second week, we'll go into more basics with HTML components, and we'll start to build the digital representation. The third week, we'll start to give our digital representation some style and color. The fourth week, we'll add some advanced functionality. And finally, the fifth week, we will review and have a showcase of web pages. The theme: the entire household is enslaved by technology and want our technological freedom more than anything else. Just like our ancestors throughout the world who have been slaves in the past, we must use practical logic to escape. Our ancestors had to learn to read and write before becoming free. So in today's world, we must learn how to program in order to break the shackles of technology. In our first week, the Introduction to HTML and Tools, we'll define terms like programming language. We'll define the acronym HTML. We'll discover the purpose of hacking and what tools we can use to execute this method. We'll introduce additional applications that make reading and writing programming language straightforward. In the second week, we'll examine the structure of HTML. We'll test and address errors in our source code. We'll also read and write from scratch. In the third week, we'll explain more about cascading style sheets, or CSS. We'll break down the structure, and we'll go into the purpose behind design and visual appeal. The fourth week, we'll get into advanced techniques. We will embed objects such as videos and music. We'll talk about APIs, how they work, and what they're used for. We'll even introduce some scripting through another extension called JavaScript. The 5th week, it's time for exhibition and review. Everyone will display their final websites, will ask questions, and find out now that you have your digital representation, what are you ready to do? Some of the assignments and experiments that the children will be asked to perform on a week-to-week basis. They will ask to hack their favorite website. They will be asked to read source code and start writing HTML from scratch on their own. They'll have to design their own CSS template. They'll use advanced features and add objects to their page. And lastly, they'll present their web pages and show the progress that they've made. These are some of the terms that we'll go over during the class. And the terms are split up in 2 categories. First, HTML terms are terms that are specific to HTML. Programming terms are specific to the world of programming languages. These are terms that I expect children to memorize the most. No matter what programming language they decide to learn, the programming terms will be very important. The HTML terms are HTML specific and will only be used in conjunction with HTML. This is a part of the approach and ideology mentioned earlier. This is just one technique to use toward African children, where we're not going to segment things and force them to only learn HTML, but we're going to give them an opportunity and a path to learning other languages while they're learning this one. It begins to draw dots and similarities to the world of programming. When they get into other languages and make the connections to the dots, they will form their own abilities based off their own thinking. These are some of the resources that will be shared during the class that are also available online. And finally, this is the contact information. Thank you. Give thanks for taking the time to listen. If you are interested, please use the contact information on screen to register or ask any questions. The class is being offered on Mondays only, starting March 24th until May 26th. There are 2 options for this class. First, the online class, which is 5 live video sessions for 5 weeks. The second option is an instructional DVD with 5 lessons that will serve as the main teaching platform, but also comes with 5 live conference sessions for the purpose of answering questions and to receive more detailed explanation where needed. Thank you once again. Peace and blessings.